Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, thank you for coming out and listening tonight. I want to thank everybody for being here. First and foremost, I'm going to start off with saying hello. Miss Diane Sullivan, Kathy Kniffen, Peas in the Pod, Kate Yu, Palm Patrol, Janice, hello. Hello, everybody. And let's see, who else? Miss Justice and Kimmy's Lounge, of course, is here. Cosplay, how are you doing? Potwicks, thank you. Carrie, thank you for coming. Let's see, Katrina Restova. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming out. And how are you doing tonight? We are going to do something a little bit different tonight. Just a second here. I want to make sure that I'm being heard. So you're getting a little bit of echo there. My apologies. And here we go. Of course, everybody, Find Summer's Truth, thank you for coming out. Appreciate you doing so. Of course, everybody, please hit that like and subscribe button if you had not done so already. That means a lot to me. I do not will not ever make a money off of this channel. I do not and will not ever make a comment about somebody that does monetize their channel. That is a personal decision. My decision is that I will never ever do so. It's nothing against anybody. It's nothing anybody else or anything like that. Just my decision. New Orleans Lady and Butterfly Kisses, thank you for coming out. Tonight is a little bit touchy. I'm just putting it out there first right away. Tonight is a little touchy. Hello, Pen 1010. Thank you very much. We are talking about Summer Wells tonight. But I'm going to lead off to, and a thank you to Cosplay for bringing this to my attention earlier today. I had not looked into this. I heard about this, but I had not looked into this. Noel Rodriguez Alvarez, little boy, 6 years old from Texas, who it appears that has taken things along the lines of what happened with the Cali Boys, the California Cali Boys, if you know who they are, from the West children from California, Sincere and I'm mentally drawing my blank because I didn't plan on saying their names, but all of a sudden I was. So forgive me on that. The West Boys. We have a family that has done basically the same thing, but on an international level. It appears to be. They're hiding. The parents and the 6 children are hiding in India. Find Summer's Truth. Thank you very much. Classic and Sincere. That is the name I cannot for life of me remember. It's Classic. However, Noel, instead of moving just for within the same state, this family has decided they're going to go in the international and move to another country. And what has come out today, and I'm going to share this because this I think is really important to understand what they were talking about in the press conference today. In the press conference today, they were talking about having both what's called a forensic digital or a digital forensic search. That's not the exact right phrasing. Bear with me a moment here. I apologize. Bad thing about taking a nap is you forget to do things, and when you went to go and get everything set up. It's horrible when you forget where something is located. Bear with me a moment, folks. I apologize. There is a photo I'm looking for that explains this very, very well. So bear with me a moment here. And of course, I'm not going to find it because I want to find it. Okay, so I'm just going to move on. I apologize, but there is the difference between a traditional so we're talking about a digital search, basically a digital forensic evaluation. It's not the right terms. Please forgive me. It's a it's there's a thing that the people will do. The people that are tech savvy, way tech savvier than I am. We'll sit there and they'll analyze what somebody does by the digital history of not just a computer, but cell phones, anything that's online or anything involving technology, including spending, including what you do in your private of your private of your home, your what online. Yeah, Miss Justice. Basically yes. That is exactly what it is. But it's more than just a footprint of your internet activity. It includes what your spending habits are as well. And I'm just going to stop here for a second, gather myself, and say hello to Truth Finder and Amalua Rue. Thank you all for coming in. But anyway, and I know there's more than been just these handful of people that are speaking to me, typing out there. I see that there is about 54 people total. Please take a moment and say hi in the chat room. Let us know you're here. Isaac Brown, hello. Thank you very much. Bailey, thank you for coming in. Yes, Miss Justice, it's a profile. It's exactly right. So they build this profile out of all the activity somebody does online. And this is how they're going to catch these people that moved. Hello, that's interesting. And Gaelic girl, thank you very much. This is how they're going to catch them and get them back to the United States from India. Marley 13, thank you very much. is that you have this now evidence because the family has stolen money, has committed other crimes that just based on their child being missing. Marie Dijon, thank you very much. S, thank you very much. Just the fact that their child is missing is not enough for them to get an extradition back to the United States. It's these other events that they announced today that this family has done to leave to go to India. That they're going to be able to get this extradition done. Yes, but peas in a pod, they do, but it's a very, very tight rope. It actually has to be crimes that are both in United States and in India. You're looking at more of financial crimes, more of the white collar type of crimes. That they're going to be able to get this family back to the United States on. Have you ever seen the TV show White Collar, or the movie Catch Me If You Can? There's another show that is also based off this one man's life story. If I had the man's name in the top of my head, I would mention it. But there's a couple TV shows and a movie made on one particular person's life story. And it's all about what white collar crimes are. And this is what is going to catch that family and get that family back to the United States. Is the digital crimes the digital evidence, digital forensics that they've built up, and they announced today. If you imagine, I've been one of the most critical persons I have of all together about what Don Wells does. And I've said that, I've put out there straight out there, this is what he needs to be doing. And he's doing the complete opposite. And I'm not going into detail. I'm just giving you a little summary on that. Little vet girl, thank you very much. It's that buildup of that case, or the cases, or the charges that they now have for theft and for embezzlement type of charges and tax evasion charges, that they're going to be able to bring them back to the United States on. The extradition charges that India has specifies that tax evasion, theft, embezzlement type of charges, the white collar charges, are in the treaty to go ahead and issue an extradition. Since there's been no charges of a murder, then it's perfectly fine. This is the route they have to go. Yes, S, you're exactly right. Exactly right. You're saying exactly what I'm explaining. Digital footprint and metadata will get them exactly what's going on. It's going to bring them back to the United States and make them face what has happened to their son. I'm still newly into covering or following what's going on with Noel, so I just wanted to bring that up quickly tonight. That press conference that was had earlier today was amazing. The way they laid everything out. And flip flop, thank you very much for coming out. I see you saying that you're listening. You got headphones on. I was actually really impressed with the press conference earlier today. That's why I wanted to bring that up and say, hey, look, we're following this, and we're going to be talking about this more as more information comes out on this. Cosplay, it was you. Thank you, because I was not following or not paying attention to that, and you mentioned that to this earlier today, I believe, with the press conference. So you got me intrigued in that one. But we're going to talk about Summer Wells. We're going to talk about some things that have been said in the past 24 hours. It should have never been said. There's a channel, and I'm going to be specific. We're going to talk about a couple different channels here today. There's a channel that has boldly claimed that there is absolutely no billboards to advertise on. And if you did advertise on a billboard, it would cost you at least $1,500 a month. Let me tell you something. Which is it? Are there no billboards in the Tri-Cities? Or is it going to cost you $1,500 a month to advertise on a billboard? You contradicted yourself, and you don't even realize it. But let me show you something. Let's take a look at something here. Sorry, folks, just a couple clicks away here. Lamar, Tri-Cities. This is Tri-Cities, Tennessee. Bristol, Johnson City, and Kingsport, all within 20 minutes commute of each other from one another. Out of home advertising. I'm just skimming over some information here. Browse the inventory. Look at all these billboards. All these billboard locations that don't exist. In the Tri-Cities. This is Bristol. First, I was showing you Johnson City. This is Bristol, Tennessee, and Virginia. This is now Kingsport, of course. Churchill. And out down here, got some along 81. This is right by where the Wells live. 347. Quite ironic that these billboards don't exist. Then if you click on a location, you'll find more, you'll see the actual billboard. Just make sure I'm streaming this and sharing this with you guys. I apologize. I was not. You'll see the actual billboard. My apologies. I will go back over this in just a little bit here. This is not far from Holston Valley Medical Center, if you're looking carefully at the map. But look at all these billboards that don't exist. that could be utilized. By the way, wasn't it Chase 423 amid all of his controversy that he brought into the Summer Wells case? And I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just saying that it existed. Wasn't he the one that said he was advertising on billboards for Summer Wells? How did they not exist? Or how did they exist then and they don't exist now, or didn't exist yesterday and they exist now? Riddle me this, Batman. Somebody needs to get off the farm a little bit more. Look, I'm not just saying, look, this is what I mean, folks, when I say be careful, when I preach to you guys over and over and over again, be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you listen to. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I make mistakes. But you have to find that person that is, if not myself, which I would hope you regard me as such, but find somebody that's telling the truth, that's showing you the truth. No matter if you agree with the way the person arrived at their decision, as long as it's backed by the truth. I saw, was that advertising, was that advertising for Summer Wells? I know that at one time, even though this person is mired in controversy within himself, Ryan Upchurch was paying for billboards all the way out to Nashville. Always, Gaelic girl. Always for summer. We are always here for summer. No matter if I like the opinion of what's going on or what is going on, we are always here for summer. There are a lot of billboards in Kingsport. There are a lot of billboards in Johnson City, and there are a lot of billboards in Bristol. That is the Tri-Cities. Some are traditional billboards where you have somebody basically wallpaper on the billboard. And now as technology it gets better, they're turning to digital, which cheapens the rate, by the way, because you're not paying for that usage of that space 24/7, 360, or for a month, not 365, but for a month solid. Packages for a billboard start at $900. Not $1,500. Now, I'm not saying anybody go run out there and not going to get involved in what happened with Chase 423. We're not going out there and going to pay for a billboard or anything like that. That's something that the should be done. The law enforcement should work with people, and I don't mean just plastering her image and a little bit of a 2-second information on each and every single lottery machine in the Tri-Cities, specifically more Kingsport. But that is what is being done right now. Exactly, Isa Brown. That girl knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yep. I didn't know about the private investigator, but yes, exactly. It was definitely Ryan Upchurch. Lisa Kleckner, my apologies. Thank you for coming out tonight. Well, if you have funding and you're paying for a billboard and you can only pay for it a certain amount of time, it's a business. It's just like somebody selling real estate. So the person has to be able to that runs that business. Like I was showing you that company, Lamar, who has majority of the billboards in the Tri-Cities area. They have to make money. It's their business. They have to do all the maintenance work, the upkeep, and everything like that. So yes, they do have to or will change them to be advertising for something else. Of course, we're going to get into. Hello, Lip Like No More. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate you. I did a little bit of digging today. This other channel I was saying just a moment ago was saying that they don't that there's no billboards in Tri Cities area. Folks, let me put it this way. They may have rented a pavilion in Warrior State Park, but I would not attend what they're doing. I would not attend what they're doing. They rented the cheapest pavilion in Warrior State Park for June 15th. It appears. This pavilion, they're advertising or saying, oh, it's an indoor pavilion. It has air conditioning. No, it doesn't. It's an open air pavilion. No air conditioning. It doesn't even have access to a bathroom. It doesn't even have access to a bathroom. Sugar Mama, thank you for coming out. I appreciate everybody just doing so. If I haven't mentioned your name and saying I see you here, I thank you very much. I appreciate you. I do see you, Truth Finder. I don't think I said your name as well yet. The pavilion they rented or reserved, and I did go onto the Warrior State Park website. Kate, you hang on one second. I'll answer that question. I did go onto Warrior State Park website, took a look at the reservations, and it is advertised as having access to a bathroom in Pavilion 1 and 3. But it also says that if there's activities going on in those pavilions, that it is can be restricted that they don't have access to a bathroom. They, if you I've been hinting at all along, is a woman that pretends to be a cow and from a farm. Katerina Rostova, to be honest, I highly doubt it will be. I highly doubt it will be the only event that's going on. There's only 5 pavilions to be used. And those 5 pavilions, traditionally that week in the summer, there's children's activities that go on at the park, and they use the pavilions. Now, they're going to go ahead and tell you that all of this conversation about what they're doing is because I have nothing to talk about. And I need to not be talking about them and minding what they do. Watch, it'll happen within the next 48 hours, I promise you. Pink Butterfly, thank you very much for coming out tonight. But this is exactly what I put out there as the title of my stream tonight. This stream is not for everybody. We are 100%. We're somewhere 1-800 TBI fine. Thank you for coming out tonight. Summer, where Summer, thank you very much. You're about to get to a point of what I'm about to say. It's about making money to them, not spending money. Summer Moon Utah Wells is never there is no such thing about making money off of her. If you pay attention to every single thing that they say, and some other channels are doing the same thing, I'm not just including them. I just happen to using them as an example because they're the easiest to use and most obvious to use at the moment. In every single thing that they do, it's about the almighty dollar and how to make money. Just step back and listen to what they say. You know, I spent about a week and a half away from being on YouTube, and I don't, if you can tell, I'm a little bit rusty. I'm not. I misplaced a couple things and so on and so forth tonight. Wasn't quite 100% full gear, fifth gear. If you're familiar with a manual transmission on a vehicle, wasn't quite in fifth gear at the start. There is a reason that the wells continuously go on channels that will allow them to run around, say whatever they want, to sit there and blindly cater to them. Country Christian, thank you for coming out tonight. I believe I missed one other person that did come out tonight, and if I did, I apologize. Crazy Chicken Lady, thank you very much. I see you. Thank you, Carrie, for putting out there. This content and discussion is all opinionated and allegedly. Thank you. I appreciate you putting that out there for me. Bingo. We have a bingo. Let me see if I can find this comment again. Vet Girl has it right here. Vet Girl, thank you very much. Cold Case Foundation was turned down by the parents. Enough said all. They want to hire a private investigator that is going to cost $5,000. Where do you think this money is going to come from? Because it's not the Wells. The Wells aren't going to pay for it. Hubris. Why do I say hubris? Hubris is excessive pride or self-confidence. Oftentimes it can be described as being arrogance. The Wells believe that they have enough moxie, the gall, the daring to be able to raise $5,000 from people to help them pay for this private investigator. Instead of sitting there and going and swallowing their pride and saying, Cold Case Foundation, will you help us? Cold Case Foundation, will you help us? They refuse to do so. Absolutely refuse to go ahead and say, Cold Case Foundation, Chris McDonough, can you please bring your team in and help us? Susan Smith, thank you for coming out tonight. Hello, Oreo. I see you in the crowd as well. Thank you very much. They can't do it. This is why they have to go the route of hiring a private investigator. And if you listen to other channels, it's Jim Terry that they're going to be hiring to do this. In order to have the Cold Case Foundation come in and help them, they have to start walking back statements that they made. They have to apologize for what they have said. And I'm not saying this is a demand of the Cold Case Foundation. I'm not saying this is a demand of Chris McDonough. Just their action of doing so will have to start rolling back all these things that they've said and how they've said that they don't want Chris McDonough anywhere near talking about Summer Wells. They don't want anybody talking about Summer Wells on social media. And each and every single lie, piece of misinformation, and the whole shenanigans that they have pulled with what they've done online. Whereas if they go and hire a private investigator, they don't have to do that. With the exception of when I say I'm going to have to take a sabbatical or a little bit of a break because of work, which happened. If you've been with me before the new year happened, it happened. I believe it was October. I ended up having to take a few months off because of work related, and I got sick and so on. When I get quiet, and you don't hear from me for a week or a week and a half, you better believe I'm digging in on something. And I'm sitting back and I'm observing and I'm taking notice of what is being said, when it's being said, how it's being said. And that's what I've been doing for the past week and a half. I've been sitting there and just observing the language, the reactions, the interactions that they've been having. And I'm not kind of sit here and tell you I'm an expert at breeding somebody. I'm not. I can make mistakes. In the past week and a half, Don Wells finally broke down and had a good conversation with Chris McDonough. One that he says that he's going to repeat and have again. But I doubt. I highly doubt it will happen again. If you go back and listen, it was on the lab, and I believe it was a week ago tomorrow. It was on Wednesday night, I believe. There was points in that conversation. Well, Chris McDonough was professional. And Josh just sat back, and when he had a question, he did ask it. But he let Chris McDonough run the show at that point. There were moments in there in the conversation and in the questions that were being asked that Don Wells came across as answers were contentious at best. He didn't want to talk to Chris McDonough. He did not want to talk to Chris McDonough because he knows that Chris McDonough would ask questions he doesn't want to answer. Susan Smith, you're absolutely right. It's twice. It's at least twice. It's at least twice. Now, because unlike Brandy Neal, and God, I hope I have her name right. Please forgive me if I don't. Brandy Neal Monkey. Unlike Brandy Neal, who and her husband Tyler, who turned around and said, "Please bring your team in." Please bring your team in to help. Scrutinize us. Rake us over the coals. That's an old phrase that meaning just to like literally just tear us apart. Do what you got to do to help. We don't care. Until the Wells finally get to that point of saying, we want Summer to come home. couple lives ago, I had done what I had done was I said pointed out where they had said, Don Wells specifically said, and there is no need to go back and say, well, that's not what he meant, because it's exactly what he meant. He was asked a question of if Summer Wells was be taking to I don't remember the exact details of the question, but the person that said this what said, I hope Summer Wells gets taken, dropped off at a hospital, at a fire station, police station, whatever it need be to have Summer returned. Don Wells turned around and said, I hope not. Darlene Spencer, thank you for coming out tonight. I'm seriously, I'm stuck on that. I'm stuck on the point that somebody would, a parent would actually say, instead of saying, please bring my child home, please let my child free, he turns around and says, I hope not. I'm a big sports fan, and I tried playing football when I was in high school. I was no good, to be honest. I was lucky that my school had very few people that wanted to play sports, so it was easy to for a year to play freshman and JV a little bit. But that moment made it so, like, to me, it felt like I was like without pads, without a helmet, and I just went running full speed back when I was in high school, not currently because I got bad knees and can't run that anymore, or at least not run to the what I could back when I was in high school. I smacked in myself. I smacked ran in hard into a brick wall. Hello, Trev Time. Thank you for coming out. I did see you in the audience here. Thank you. Nancy Wallace, thank you very much as well. Susan Smith, you're exactly right. And that's the point I'm trying to get at here. You're exactly right. I'm trying to get to that. What I'm doing is I'm getting to that point. They will never apologize. They will never walk back what needs to be walked back. Amy King, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. They'll never do it. Miss Justice, you're right. You're supposed to go around balls, but this is also let's say freshman high school 15-year-old kid trying to prove he's cool and can play sports and a contact sport when like he used to when half my age, and should have stuck to non-contact sports like smashing a baseball like I was able to do when I was half the age, and throw a baseball. Bailey, are you trying to catch up with us? Because that's the person I was not mentioning, but you're exactly right. Frank Abnegale. Very interesting story if you want to look into him. I used to work for a bank, and I used to work in a check fraud department. And he's a very interesting man that made a lot of changes in how banking is done that still get repeated and continue to be repeated and developed today. Man was a criminal and became an expert for the FBI for fraud. After he had worked with the FBI, and this is just going off memory, he went and started working in corporate, where he was designing checks, designing systems to prevent people from doing what he did. But anyway, the problem still remains and always will remain. Yes, Sammy, that's the movie I was referring to. I was also talking about the TV show White Collar, which is also based on Frank Abagnale. The problem still remains that Don Wells, Candace Wells, even though they want you to believe they're there to talk about Summer Wells, they're only there to do anything but talk about Summer Wells. They don't and have outright said they want people to stop talking about Summer Wells on social media. I normally don't make a push for people to subscribe to my channel or make a major push, because I tell you that I'm not driven by monetizing my channel or anything like that. Tonight and going forward is going to be a change to that. Let Black No More and Susan Smith, you're exactly right. Tonight's an important night for everybody to subscribe to my channel. I'm still not going to monetize my channel. I'm not interested in making money off of Summer Wells. Not a criticism to anybody that does make the decision to monetize their channel. Just my decision not to do so. The reason I'm saying is to hit that notification bell and subscribe tonight is I'm working on expanding to another platform. Haven't decided fully which way I'm going yet. There's no announcement of I'm taking my channel off of YouTube. That's not happening. With the restrictions that YouTube has been placing on channels, this channel, as it appears on YouTube, is going to be more about the facts and shorter stories and shorter lives. And the other platform that I'm looking at, you can actually say things that YouTube restricts and cancels channels over. I will still be part of YouTube. I'm not going to go anywhere from YouTube. I'm just saying my lives on YouTube are going to get shorter if I decide to do this and fully do this. But, and then more of what I'm opinion based is going to be on that other platform. Those lives, when I happen to do that, and once I do that, and the reason I'm encouraging everybody tonight to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see my community page, because that's where I'm going to just be posting suddenly that I'm having a live on such and such platform. The platform I'm looking at is there is not a huge right now true crime community, but when you do true crime over there, you better know your stuff. Kimmy, I'll talk to you about that. I'll email you about that. It's not anything set in stone right yet, but here's what's going to happen. And we're going to go back to talking about Summer Wells in a moment. So please don't anybody go anywhere. I'm just making a statement of what is going to be happening with my channel. YouTube is going to get more and more restrictive of what you can and cannot say. YouTube actually does not want any politics or any true crime related items being on YouTube. I'm still looking into another platform. This is why I'm not going to say a specific platform yet. I'm looking at a couple different ones, although my mods know that I've mentioned one in particular. You don't have to use on this other platform certain things to hint around saying what you're trying to say. Lip lock no more. I agree. In some ways, they do need to be more restrictive. But at the same time, you shouldn't have to say things like SA or red rum or some other thing in order to make a point. And hello, Louisiana girl 61. Thank you for coming out. It's been weighing on my mind for a while to do this. And it's probably going to happen. This is why I'm saying this now. It's why I'm saying that it is important for people to subscribe to my channel, not because of any monetization reasons. Darlene Spencer, exactly. You get my point. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. So this is why Annabelle Roma, thank you for coming out. I appreciate you doing so. Okay, I will definitely take a look at that. But that's the reason why in the past couple lives that I've been, when I have gone live, I've made the push or statement that it's important for people to actually subscribe. It's not to put me over 1,000, although I'd love to see that. I'm not interested in monetizing my channel. And it's just simply that we have a way of saying, hey, this is if I do a live one night and I'm on some other platform, you know where to look for me. Kathy Marsh, thank you for coming out. Mm-hmm. Yep. We're specifically talking about pavilions, though. And the pavilions are on an island, and only two of them have bathrooms built into the pavilion. And if they're being used, the access to the bathrooms can be restricted, which is the point I was making. Blank. Yes, blank. Exactly. If they're sitting there and watching YouTube, beyond people shortening things for shorthand purposes, using emojis to communicate what the in euphemisms or any other way you wanted to look at it, because of YouTube restrictions that I'm talking about, you can't say things. You're not going to be able to say things or continue to say things openly. They don't want true crime on their on YouTube. And I don't know if it's Google or YouTube or whoever is making this happen, but it's going to get worse. While they ease up on saying, "Oh, if you don't say the F word in the first 7 seconds of your video, you're fine. We don't care after the first 7 seconds." Delaney second, the legendary. Thank you for coming out. Sorry, it was a little bit of a random moment there. Not like I said, not an announcement that I'm leaving YouTube or anything, but I'm just saying, hey, I'm working on some things where and explaining where this channel is going as well. Summer Moon Utah Wells, 6/15, June 15th, 2021. In the short time that I had been silent in the past week and a half, I did miss the 22nd anniversary, the 22nd month anniversary of her missing. I also missed some other things that happened. So forgive me if I play a little bit of catch up here. Again, no criticism to any other creator. It's well known that Dudley had been arrested, and by the charges that are being pressed, it looks like it possibly was for dealing. But I looked at it a little bit differently than everybody else, I guess. With all the deaths that happened around Summer Wells' disappearance to adults that very closely are related to the investigation, Dudley being arrested was actually a good thing, because suspicion is that some of these deaths that have happened to adults were related to fentanyl. And yes, I'm referring to Jose. I don't remember the man's name, but he was found in the river. There's what's her name? I want to say her name is Leslie. This is a good thing that he was arrested. It's going to force him to stop doing what he was doing. Of Janice, officially, it was a heart attack, but there is a rumor that it was related to fentanyl. Nana for life, thank you for coming out. I don't think I said hello to you earlier. Yes, she had a heart attack, which can be caused by fentanyl. Denilin too. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I am bad about doing so. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I believe Dudley more than Don. Be the bean. Here's the thing. And again, Carrie had up for me earlier that this tonight is my opinion, and things I am saying are alleged. That's why the live of tonight was a warning. Stream is not for everyone. When you start to have rumors, thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you putting that out there for me. This content is and discussion is all opinionated and allegedly. Denilin too, yes, it is possible. Does anybody know? And forgive me, I honestly don't know how old Leslie was. I want to say she was in her mid late 70s, possibly 80s. Was she really Nana Life? Okay, okay. I take it. I take it back. I thought she was much older than what she is. Apparently, I apologize for somebody that does not strike me or did not strike me as having hello chopstick and gymnastic 101. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. If I did not say hello to you, I just saw chopstick. For somebody that did not or fentanyl is such a new confounding thing of a prescription drug, street drug at that. She doesn't strike me as the person that would be going around and using things that fentanyl had been getting cut with or mixed with. Did she strike anybody else that way? Right, exactly. No. No, not at all. Peas in a pod, you're right, but she was, putting the Wells on blast. She spoke out against the Wells. She was not afraid to do so. You have Jose, who was in California, who blood work came back, and they found fentanyl in his system, is what I've heard. Even if it was a rumor, after you start hearing about all these deaths that are supposedly be related to Summer Wells. Oh, wow. She was actually younger than I am. Okay. You have to start looking at rumors and saying, just like a conspiracy theory or a lie that somebody tells, it has to be, for it to be believable, it has to be based on at least 1% of the truth. Sammy, that's exactly my point. It's suspicious and starting to look suspicious that people suddenly just are unalive. Lisa Mungrain, thank you very much for coming out tonight. You have to start looking at what the conspiracy theory, what the lie is, what the rumor is, because 1% of it has to be based on the truth for it to be believable. But you have to sit there and figure out what that 1% is. Lisa, I do appreciate that very much. Be the bean. Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. Who is the common denominator? Who is the common person in all of this? You would want to say Summer. True crime and other stuff. Thank you for coming out tonight. But is it Summer? Or is it Don Wells and Candace Wells? Yeah, it's Candace. And you also have an extremely silent person. An extremely silent person in all of this. you have Candy, the grandmother. We've taken a lot of time on this channel, and we're not done taking a lot of time talking about looking at and taking and looking into who what people's roles are and what they did and what they're we're getting to Candy. We're going to talk about Candy. We're I've been spending a lot of time on focused on Grand Don Wells and talking about Summer. No, I don't believe so. I have to dig into that Louisiana girl. I believe she was home alone at the time, or was with or nearby with Allie, but not as far as like the Wells parents. It was what which I believe you're hinting at. Kimmy, before you go, when are you going live next? I believe that there is. Well, I'm waiting for Kimmy to answer if she's still with me. Okay, Kimmy, I'm definitely going to email you and find out what's going on then. Or better yet, Kimmy, if you're still here, go ahead and email me, and I'll email you back tonight. The point I'm making tonight is really it's deep. And we've been building up this whole idea, and other channels have been actually doing so as well, that there's so much manure piled onto Summer Wells missing. I've long said that they could come out at this point and tell you the truth, and you would have a hard time believing it's the truth about what happened to Summer. It's like that theory that the video we did, and we went down the rabbit hole, so to speak, of if Mary was correct and Summer was sold, as she alleged, she had said that she believes that it was a reality. What could that look like? There's so many problems. And this is why it goes back to why they cannot involve Chris McDonough and his people, Cold Case Foundation. You cannot sit there and start walking back everything they've said, all the lies, all the little information, variations of what they've said. I've come up with some very unique analogies of how to compare Summer Wells or to drive a point of Summer Wells. Here's going to be another unique one. And this is going to be for those who sow. True crime and other stuff. Yes, Carrie will post that in a moment. My email address. Watch for Carrie Lawson. You can grab it from her. It's also on my about page for my channel if you want to look for it there. For those who like to sew, sometimes when you're repairing an item, you have to undo stitching to make better stitching or put better stitching in place. But the Wells having to walk back what they're saying is like having that thread puller. And somebody that doesn't know what they're doing pulls the wrong thread and everything becomes undone. And then you have nothing but scraps of material. Yes, be the bean. That is another way of putting it. Is like an onion, a layer of an onion. Yes. Find Summer's truth. Exactly. Unraveling every single thing they said. Sean, thank you for coming out tonight. Appreciate you doing so. And it's exactly why the Wells cannot involve Cold Case Chris McDonough. Cold Case Foundation with Chris McDonough. They can't do it. They'll never do it. They have to. They would have to turn around 180. Sean, I know where you're from. I see you. I've seen you there. We've talked, or not directly, but we've talked in chats. I do appreciate you coming out and saying, showing up here. The moment they do so, it's if they were to ever do so. Patricia Mitchell, thank you for coming out. I do appreciate you doing so. It's like signing a confession. Candace Wells, Candace Wells, whoever her last name is, and whatever anybody wants to believe about her last name, I really don't care personally. Let it be Wells, so she can say she keeps digging a well for herself. Appreciate that, Sean. I really do. Candace repeatedly says that the police and her stopped communicating with each other. Yes, peas in a pod, exactly. If you think back, follow me on this one. If you think back to when it was a phone conversation. I don't remember when the lab had done so, or when they had put it on YouTube. It was Don and Josh. It was late at night. It was not on live on his channel. It was a recorded conversation of a phone call. This happened within the past 6 weeks. I'm going to say. I just don't remember the exact date off the top of my head. Don Wells told Josh that when they brought him into an interview room to do the lie detector session, that they had a stack of files and boxes. And they said that we know what happened. Paraphrasing, folks. I'm paraphrasing to make it short. TBI told the Wells, that at least Don Wells, that they know that this was an accident. They know that they are covering it up. But you have Don Wells going around saying the police can't prove anything. They have nothing. Gymnastics 101, you're exactly right. It was extremely telling. Extremely telling. You have that many experts and that many level of experts. Let me just for Rod Miller Rickson, thank you very much for coming out tonight. Let me just express this to you, so you understand the level of experts that had been involved. You have the sheriff's department. No matter how many people like and do not like how the sheriff's department handled this, you have the state police, you have TBI, you have the FBI, and specifically within the FBI, you have the CART team. And let's not forget the one police service that people forget about or may not be aware of when it comes to a child abduction or a situation where it is trafficking. You have the Secret Service getting involved. That's 6 different law enforcement agencies initially involved or at one point involved in Summer Wells' disappearance. 6. And all of their experts came back and said, what? They believe this is an accident that they are covering up. Now, granted, I'm going to put out there that the Secret Service being involved is contingent on what the car team does find. But they would have been involved, at least notified that they have a suspicion or the car team is responding to a missing kid, and that reports are this is from the parents. Initially, this is an abduction, and they're looking into any sort of trafficking of a minor. So even though the Secret Service may not have, and they're never going to know if they were, because they're just the Secret Service, they're going to be responding quietly and hidden in plain sight. Six agencies of law enforcement, no matter if you agree with Hawkins County or not, and their actions they've taken then and since then, have said this is not an abduction. This is not an abduction. Every single point of evidence points directly at the parents or somebody living on Ben Hill Road. Miss Justice, if you and Carrie are having problems getting emails to back and forth to each other, I'll talk with Carrie in the background and later, and I'll let you know what's going to go on directly from me instead of just responding that way if you guys are having issues. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Flip flop. It's a matter of my mind wants to say one thing, my heart wants to say another. Logically, statistic wise, this going on almost 2 years. And I'm not saying this has never happened, because if I do, there's going to be at least 5 cases that I come up with in the next 24 hours that say, and one just popped in my head, there was a kid missing for 57 years. Reunited with their parents, and I found that out about 3 weeks ago. I don't know the names, but that is, but the point of mentioning that is that we're crossing in that type of territory and timeline where it's the Elizabeth Smart and this other person, where it's 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million. I don't know statistically. I'm just putting a number to it. It's extremely rare, is my point. You have to stop when there is a point where you're mentally say that logic is what makes most sense. Penny, you're fine. Don't worry. I appreciate you coming out tonight. Tonight is a night that you would want to go, and this is for anybody that's joining late. You would want to go back and start the live from the beginning or listen later. And we're not going to be much longer, so it's not going to be a whole long thing. Mimi Jean, that's a very, very interesting way of putting it. Lip lock no more. I really do. As much as I can sit here and say, hi, see you. Thank you very much for coming out. As much as I sit here and say, I believe statistically it's not possible, I will be first person to say, I hope I am wrong. I hope. It's an emotional statement. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't believe it's possible that Summer is alive. Her parents want you to believe so. Money, money, money. Has anybody looked at the Find Summer Wells website lately? We went on a tear, as well as some other channels went on a tear, what he was posting on there 2 weeks ago. Back on the 9th, and previously to the 9th. How ironic that it's absolutely silent. I just checked yesterday. Nothing is getting posted on that website any longer, or as of now. It's been at least 2 weeks. Or it would have been 2 weeks yesterday, to be exact. Excuse me, Sunday. 2 weeks ago, Sunday was the last time there was a post on there. True crime and other stuff. You're exactly right. Don has always said from the get-go that Summer Wells is gone. Julie Howard, thank you for coming out tonight. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I'm not reading it because of what it says, but I agree 100%, and I'm letting everybody else read it for a moment. But S, exactly. Statements that Don Well made are creepy AF. Creepy AF when it comes to talking about what he thinks happened to Summer or what is happening to Summer. I'll say it again. He's reliving the memories that he comes up with, the thoughts that he comes up with. He is reliving his own memories and conveying them onto his daughter. He is conveying what he believes happened to Summer on his daughter. Or excuse me, what he had done, memories of his past, he's conveying them onto his daughter. Ponder that. Peas in a pod. I would pray that nobody ever has to experience the nightmares you're referring to. Unless you are a victim of SA, unless you're no block, keep going, you're fine. Unless you are a victim of SA, unless you are a victim of a violent crime, a person does not normally dream of something like that. But I understand your point. I'm not trying to say you're wrong in what you say. It's not a normal thing that a person would come up with thoughts like that. Maybe Candace Hare was asleep in the camper and Candace Bly was, yep, or something like that and passed out. Maybe the unfounded scream was Candace or Candy discovering something. My issue with the scream is exactly what the issue that the law enforcement has. Why did it take 3 weeks for that to be reported? Something that somebody should have reported immediately. Whether they've said, okay, well, we can't prove you heard a scream, but your recollection to that is possibly putting a tighter time frame onto something that we need to take a look at. So I kind of agree with you, but I have issues with the screaming still because it wasn't reported till 3 weeks later. If it had come out naturally that day, now we're cooking with grease. We're cooking some bacon, frying up bacon. We're getting somewhere. Be the bean. It was 3 weeks. It wasn't that day. Cosplay, you're right. And that's part of what makes this so hard. If the evidence was that absolutely this was an accident and this is what happened, and they pleaded mercy as they claimed to be such a great religion. Yeah, I can't even say it right because I don't believe it. They were supposed to be trying to put on the front of being religious people. If you came out and said, hey, it was an accident. She was in, as I believe, she was in the car in the parking lot and time slipped away and a teenager didn't know. Should not have been put in the responsibility of having to be babysitting in that circumstances. Or she swallowed some water at the river. If there was some way of knowing exactly what happened, and if it were an accident, it would be a total different thing, total different circumstances than where we are at 22 plus months. True crime and other stuff, exactly right. The scream was deemed by law enforcement after it was reported to them approximately 3 weeks later that it was unfounded. There you go. Mary told us that going back to when Don Wells was a teenager, the further you look into the past is the further you can see into the future and understand the present. Don Wells, every single time he got in trouble, he ran to the church and got involved in religion. Ran to the church, ran to a church and got involved in religion to try to show everybody outwardly that he was a good person and that he was a church going person and he had ties to the community. Don the Con. There's only so many times you can use running to religion, hiding behind religion, before it becomes an obvious habit or pattern. of somebody trying to say that they are not the person people think they are. You can go to a church a month, 2 months, and decide for whatever reason that's really not your church, but you make friends in a church. Just because you don't agree with the way that things are being presented or things are being taught doesn't mean you're going to abandon that friendship. Be the being, that's exactly the exactly what we focus on. I haven't said it a lot tonight. Summer Moon, Utah Wells, June 15th, 2021. Blonde hair, blue eyes, weighing 30 pounds, approximately 3 feet tall. Last seen wearing pink shirt, possibly barefooted. Missing from the Beach Creek community. Lip lock no more. I believe, as somebody that lives in the area, some people know where I live, or generally where I live. I live in Kingsport. And from being able to closely observe what happens in Sullivan County, what happens in Hawkins County, this was actually necessary. To get it to the point of having the Amber Alert. The Amber Alert, it allowed those total of potentially six law enforcement agencies to come in and start investigating and help investigate. The missing to endangered to it was also important because you have missing, it's just a local law enforcement issue. Rogersville and Hawkins County. But when resources are needed beyond what Hawkins County has, and let's be honest, those who also live in the area will agree with me. Hawkins County is a poor county. Resources are limited. So they rely on either the resources that Kingsport has, or Johnson City has, or Bristol has, because they're larger. And they have more resources available to them. Once they invoke those other resources and involve the other police agencies, the state and the TBI especially, even though they don't hand over any sort of jurisdiction, they're still in charge. You have rapid response teams like CARD. with the FBI. You have you have the full TBI can actually turn results of anything within 24 hours to 24 hours to just a couple days. So it was necessary for them to involve the other agencies in getting this into the level of a Amber Alert. So they had a placement of a vehicle that they could not find, or they were having difficulty finding. You have two actual vehicles. You have the parents saying there was a suspicious person that were hanging around in the area, which was a red truck, which was the truck, in my personal belief, that was in the ditch across the road at Ben Hill Road, right at the cemetery on the 15th. People want to debate that. That truck was in the ditch in front of the cemetery on the 15th. So you have a vehicle that was pulled out of a ditch. You have the parents insisting this is an abduction. You also had a other vehicle that they were having trouble locating the person in, which, if you listen to what Candace Wells originally said, was a blue vehicle. I don't remember if it was a minivan or a car. So now you're having the description of fitting into what is the criteria needed for an Amber Alert. Which again enables other law enforcement agencies to get involved. Sorry about that all. I just hit my microphone. Apologies. Hope nobody was wearing a headset. To answer lip lock, and other people may have the same question. Because law enforcement had no direction, they had to use what information that they could possibly piece together. Leslie Earhart on June 18th, 2021, in a press conference said, usually by now we have a point information that leads us into a direction where this is going. And again, I'm out of order, so I'm paraphrasing what she said. This is extremely frustrating, is what she actually said. It was extremely frustrating to law enforcement. Related to the statement of they normally have a direction of which way this case is going. They knew from day one. They knew from the first hours that they had to go and get these other law enforcement agencies involved. Because nothing was making sense. And just the same as still, nothing makes sense that the Wells parents say. Right, Nana for life, exactly. Still unclear. They had to sit there and involve the possibly 6 other law enforcement agencies, get the car team involved. Because as much as there might have been a member or two from the car team actually here in the Tri-Cities area from Boston within just a few hours, there was a lot of stuff going on up in Boston behind the scenes that they don't talk about. Searching the black web for information. Having people interview the parents. Not just what Hawkins County may ask or what TBI may ask or the regular FBI, but this specific team within the FBI that asks a different kind of question. And have them come back and say, nope, it's not an abduction. Exactly, Liplock. It's out of the norm. I believe that's another thing that Leslie Earhart said was it's out of the norm. Imagine Peace, thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate you stopping in and saying hello in the chat. But you're exactly right. For a child reported missing only 10 minutes. Yeah. But when did she go missing? True crime and other stuff. Thank you very much for coming out. Appreciate it. Annabelle, you asked the $50 million question. But here's the problem. They might have told her it was safe or brought her up to be knowing that it's safe to be up on the hill. And not to wander off the hill and to try to relay to everybody on social media that she was an inside girl. But she loved her tree swing. She loved to be a tomboy and chase the boys around. And you had Jose making statements that they would often have to go searching after Summer because she would wander off the property. And the story is that a couple of times she would do so without clothes on. Imagine Peace, thank you very much for coming out tonight. I appreciate you doing so. Butterfly Kisses, exactly. Being outside was her downfall, according to her father. I've said this before, and I don't think it's really caught on. On June 15th, there was a vehicle moved, a broke down vehicle that was there for parts, moved from top the hill on Ben Hill Road. Does anybody know, Carrie, not you, please, not you. Does anybody know where this broke down vehicle was? Carrie, I know you know this answer. That's why I'm saying not you. I'm going to see if somebody else knows this answer. Yes, the blue truck. Butterfly Kisses, the blue truck. Does anybody know that's who towed it away, Betty Smith? And thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. Appreciate you joining us. Not by the shed. Fred towed the truck away. Cosplay, yeah. Cosplay, I forgot you were there for a second. But you knows because you've caught me and Carrie talking about this. Yes, thank you. No, it's not a Fred Hills. Fred Hill is the person that towed the truck away. It was parked where the tree swing is. Or was. I don't remember if they tore that down or not. It was parked where the tree swing was on June 15th. So how would have Summer supposedly that was her most favorite thing to do was to go and monkey climb up onto that tree swing and swing on it, have done so if there was a broke down truck parked there? Yeah, Mimi Jean, that was just sick and pathetic by them. This was just sick and pathetic. The fact that they took the bus out to put gas in it and run it for a little bit and pulled over on the side of the road and laid under it, took a picture like to indicate that somebody's throwing them under the bus. That's just sick and pathetic. Truth Finder, that truck in the ditch was a red truck. The blue truck had no engine because they used it for parts. And until Fred Hill towed it away on the 15th, it was parked where the tree swing was or is. I don't remember. Again, I don't remember or don't know if they tore the tree swing down. Why not? They could have because they basically erased Summer from everything else. The existence of the house. Lip Like No More, I appreciate you being here. Ponder that, folks. I'm serious. Think about that. And I know why Lip Lock is no more is going around and pacing, and it's so she doesn't go ahead and type what she's now thinking and land up going off. The truck is been from it was a scrap truck, so I have no clue where it landed up being. Patricia Mitchell, um, Carrie or cosplay, can you go back and grab the link for that particular video that I did where I talked about a particular county and I said that I was not going to go and talk about that information anymore. Patricia, I'm going to have Carrie or cosplay drop a link for you. You'll want to take a look at that video because you're very, very close. And the video they're going to get put in the chat room is going to be it will clear up the answers that uh, um, you're so close about. Actually, I could probably go find it myself if they're unable to do so. Um, yeah, this is it. Okay. Sorry, I want to make sure I had the right video before I just drop a link into the chat here. I would encourage you to go and look at this particular video. And anybody else that would want to do so, that are scratching their head, what am I talking about? That there's a county or a town that I don't talk about or won't talk about. This is that information right here. And I explain in that video what I mean, why I won't talk about that anymore, and the references that I make are in there I believe clear. Yes, Nana. Yes, Nana for life. That's the video, and you'll want to watch the video because I talk about some other information about the Tri-Cities area, including Greensville, um, and no, you're good. You cosplay, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. I was able to grab the link. That's fine. It's not an issue. Yeah, Carrie, I did. I actually did. Carrie, you were normally right on the spot when I mentioned something. You normally have it like that, but I was able to find it for you before tonight. Yes, find summer's truth. I know you do. You were here. I believe you were with me during the live. So jog your memory on that one. Take a look at that, and it answers what Patricia Mitchell was suggesting. It clears up what she was suggesting. Let's see here. Folks, I'm going to be winding down in just a little bit here. I'm not going to be on much longer. I know there are other channels that everybody will want to listen to and go over and watch. But we're going to wind down in a moment here. Okay, so Chapstick. That place has two locations. One is in Rogersville. The other one is north of 347, and I don't remember the road location. It's not on a map anywhere. It's not the active location that they want advertised for their scrapyard. It's more of just an office location. It's west of Bays Mountain. It's north of 347. It is not far from where the wells are. It's never been made clear of which location they were referring to. I've listened to the dispatch call on that. I can't tell if they're giving a street address or a highway number. It sounds like they are giving an address to me because there is no route number or highway number or local county road number of 16660. There is no county number road, highway number 16660. And that is what was said. What I know is that when the investigating police officer that arrived at that location had cleared it, there was no children there. The county normally numbers a highway or a county road. It will normally have either a 3 or 4-digit number. 16660. 5 digits. Holler Boys Creeker, one more round, no reprieve. Thank you for joining us. Their main operations location is on River Road. You are correct. They have another location that is on Highway 16, which is out in Rogersville or very close to Rogersville. Darlene Spencer, I know. I know very, very much. Yes. Too many sixes. I know. That's why I had to pause in there to make sure I was saying it right. 16,660. No, I do appreciate you listening. Please don't be afraid to join us, and we like having everybody's opinion here. Two locations for that scrapyard. One is their office location. The other one is their operations location. The one I was speaking of that Holler Boys said is what I believe to be the office location on River Road in Kingsport. The location out in Rogersville is mainly where they handle all the actual the manual labor work. Imagine Peace. Unfortunately, no. There's actually a Highway 16, a County Road 16. Yes, Thompson Metals is also out there, Kathy Marsh, but the scrapyard, Tennessee Iron and Metal, is also out there, and they have an office location. You don't find it on a map. If you look up Tennessee Iron and Metal, it's going to take you over to the location in Rogersville. The iron, it used to be in Kingsport on River Road, and they moved out to Rogersville. There you go. Take a look what Holler Boys just said, folks. I knew it was their primary location out on River Road. I believe that, and I could have this wrong street name. The location I say that's north of 347, west of Bays Mountain, is something like Mountain View. I'm not looking at a map, folks. I'm not going to go and get into a map tonight. It's something along some Mountain View road or drive or something like that is where I'm saying this office location is. It's in Kingsport. So I don't know what scrapyard that Frank Hall, after he's done dismantling for parts, takes any vehicles to. But he does a lot of legal strip down services and can quite often get more money for the parts than just taking a vehicle to a scrapyard. Unfortunately, I can't answer your question on that one though. Beyond that, because lip lock, because I don't know what facilities he takes the what's left over to. I've never looked into that. Maybe I can reach out to maybe I'll email Ziggy and see if her email's still up and see if she knows, even though she doesn't do anything. See, Holler, thank you very much. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's north of 347, west of Bays Mountain. You'll have to forgive my the way I describe something like that, folks, because I don't drive. I'll be the first person to tell you I don't drive. I can look at a map, I can study a map, I can understand a map, but as far as actually driving on or going down physically down a road, um, I may not have an exact like recall of that, but I can describe the location. Gymnastics 101, I 100% agree with that. She was an outdoor girl. She loved to explore the area around where she lived. Well, Holler Boys, that's like I say about like Tucker drywall. His business location is registered to his home. That's where his office is. So if it's similar case to that, he doesn't have to go driving, even though it's 20 miles away, roughly, over to Rogersville. He can have a home office set up, go to his office or go into his office and be at work. It's an office location. That's exactly what I'm referring to. Scott H, thank you for joining us. 120 Acres also, thank you for joining us tonight. Scott H, it was a blue truck, and from the information I have researched on this and been given this on this, is that when Fred Hill picked up the truck, it was parked at the swing. Now, I don't know exactly when he picked up the truck. Chronologically, in the course of the day, it would be a guess. You'd have to ask Fred Hill what time it was, and those questions of where it was. But my understanding, until corrected, is that it was parked at the swing. That she could not have used that swing. Like I said, it's possible that it was moved there so to signify this was the vehicle that he was to take. Scott H. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's very possible for sure. I don't know the full circumstances of what it was, why it was there. The information I found on it was that it was there. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I'll accept that I'm wrong about it where it was. But Kathy Marsh, no matter what information any YouTuber has puts out there, I am 100% sure that the TBI, FBI, and any law enforcement agency that is involved investigating for Summer knows about that. Whether it be that they got that from Fred Hill or the Wells themselves, they know. Nana for life. I will be more than happy to say I'm wrong if I'm proven wrong about that. But right now, I'm going to stick with what I said my understanding is that the truck was parked in a location at the swing and would have made it impossible for Summer to use the swing. Fran Baxter, thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate that. All right, folks. It is, goodness, what time is it? It is after 11 o'clock. Okie Fokie, thank you for coming out tonight. Ellie knows, and no matter Holler Boys Creek, or you're making a point that I was about to make. No matter what we speculate, no matter what we talk about here on YouTube, no matter about what we discuss, and no matter how we dice up this information and try to understand what happened, for some people that I've talked to about Summer Wells and some other missing kids stories and cases or information, people like to say that I have an interesting recall of information. Usually I can recall things without having notes, without having to play a video, without having to, even though I do those things from time to time. If I believe something is important and I research it enough, and my mods research it with me, and we all come to the same conclusion and same information, I tend to believe that is what has actually happened. I will be the first person to sit here and say if information is proven otherwise, and apologize for giving that information incorrectly. In the end of the day, what matters the most is Summer Moon Utah Wells. went missing June 15th, 2021. A clock that should have never been started was started. We're beyond 22 months now of not knowing what happened to Summer. The moment that the parents called 911, reported her missing, this no longer became a matter of just being about 110 Ben Hill Road. The reaction of the parents being on social media, their interactions, their reactions, their stories they want us to believe that make no sense, made this information, made what happened to Summer public, not private. Folks, it's going on 11:15. I'm not looking at the exact time, so forgive me. 11:15 at night. And I say at the end of my show every single night, no matter how old your kids are or how young your kids are, give them an extra hug tonight. Send them a text message tonight, even if you haven't heard from them all day. Tell them that you love them and that they are important to you. It can make all the difference for somebody. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I'm not going to set a 100%, so everybody knows. You just watch for a notification if you say hit that notification bell. I probably will come on again on Thursday night. I'm probably going to do a more of an open live type of deal where creators or other persons can join us live and we're just going to have a good time Thursday night. But again, I don't have that concrete set in motion yet. I want to take a look at some other things. But that looks like the direction I'm heading with for Thursday night. Forget me not. Thank you for coming out tonight. I want to thank everybody for listening and coming out and listening to me. This has been Conversations Living Room. And I am RJ, and I'm out. Have a good night, all.